You're locked on to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Now we're transitioning over to Scotty and Friends. We are still live, though, at Kenny J's Barbecue in South Jordan at the District. And, man, the fans are rolling in. Do you think these are more basketball fans or barbecue fans? I think these are barbecue fans.
I'm not here often enough to know how much their business is peaking. I don't know what they're normally doing at,
I bet you
12:08, but it
this is pretty
seems to
standard.
me it's a little early for lunch. But you would come early if you want to beat the lunch rush. But, nobody's watching the best game over here. So I think more barbecue than hoop, because we got multiple TVs going. The one all the way to our left is the TCU Ohio State game, and there's 4 minutes left, and it's a 1-point game.
That's good for you if you're listening. That means you can come on down and get a prime seat to watch the games if that's what you are interested in. But really what you're going to get is the best barbecue in town. Stop on by again, 11610 South Jordan at the District. Come on down, hang out, grab yourself whatever food you're looking for, man. They've got the nachos. You had food on your plate.
I have food on my plate.
You have one piece of turkey breast left. You came out with 4 pounds of food.
Okay, I did not come out with 4 pounds of food.
You may have come out with 4 pounds.
No,
of food.
it was. I know what I got.
There's one slice of turkey.
It was a quarter pound of 4 different meats. It was 1 pound total.
Okay.
And I gave some of it to you.
You did. So it disappeared quickly.
There's
for me
my
too.
thanks. Just immediately mocked me like your PK. How did you like the brisket?
It's insane. I get it.
How did you like the chicken?
The chicken and the brisket are absolutely incredible.
The pulled pork was a little messy, and I don't think you want to eat off my fork.
Because you didn't give it to me. Yeah. Right. I didn't taste the pulled pork.
The other ones I could just stab with the knife, which was brand new and pristine.
You seem to figure out how to eat it, though.
Oh, yeah. I don't get cheated on food. That's why I needed soda in the first place.
Yeah, but it's great. You're sticking to the proteins.
I would say, yeah, and I avoid all the sides, which is too bad because the sides look really good. But and no soda. I'm drinking water. I would say brisket 1, chicken 2, pork 3, turkey 4 is how I would rank them.
I think that's just in order of how you've eaten them, not the order of the quality.
No, I ate the chicken first.
Oh, okay.
But I did kind of anticipate what I was expecting,
you're gonna
to be honest. Yeah. I've been here before. I think this is my 3rd or 4th time I've eaten here. Haven't been disappointed yet. Everything's good. And it's the NCAA selection committee. It's all in the eye of the beholder here, Ben.
I can't believe you won't try the pudding. I know you can't right now. I know you're on a diet.
But I wouldn't if I'm
going to get you to try the pudding.
It's just a consistency thing. It's just not my thing. And my wife, you don't want it? I'm like, nope.
That's a bad take.
We've ordered out. We've been married decades. We've eaten out. I don't even know how many dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Hey, that pudding looks good. No, it doesn't. We're never going to agree about that.
I'm going to get you to try it. I'm going to break through where your wife could not. TCU up on Ohio State, 58-57, 3:45 left. We will let you hear from this game coming up momentarily. Quick scores around college basketball. Nebraska blowing out Troy with 11 minutes left in the second half, 56-37. Looking for their first ever tournament win. Louisville up on South Florida, 30-20, 4 minutes left in the first half there. And Wisconsin up early on High Point, 25-18. Let's let you hear live some tournament basketball as Ohio State and TCU locked in a very tight game in the opening round of the NCAA tournament.
It's going to be a foul on the senior to send Punch to the free throw line for 1-1.
A little too aggressive there by Bruce Thornton. I thought Tilly had him under control there and an unnecessary reach. TCU's doing a really nice job against Bruce Thornton, making sure that they have at least 2 bodies around them, making life difficult for him on the offensive end.
Only 5 points on 2 of 7, shooting for Thornton in 37 minutes. With 3:09 to play, there's going to be Punched back to the line for a 1-and-1. And it is up and no good. He missed it too strong. Rebound up high goes to Devin Royal for Ohio State. 58-57 TCU. 3 minutes to play in our first of 4 games here from Greenville today. Winner here takes on the winner of Duke and C in our second matchup here in South Carolina. On the left wing, Thornton picks up his dribble. Punch crowding him on the outside. He's looking for any outlet. Finally, he'll take one of the final 2 Ohio State timeouts with 2:47 to play. Later on, we'll select the smart coaching move of the day, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So here we are. It's winning time now.
Yes.
Think about the experience or lack thereof for both of these teams. The only guy who really has tournament experience for TCU is Jaden Pierre. And you look at Ohio State, Puff Johnson has some with North Carolina, hasn't played today. And Josh Onjianwuna also with Baylor, but he hasn't played all season. So everybody on the court, except for really Pierre, who got to see it up close, is playing in this moment for the first time. Just take us through what those emotions are like as someone who's been a part of the tournament.
Well, you're trying to stay locked in and not allow your emotions to get to you, because you realize if you lose this game, your season is over. And so for Ohio State, I love what they're trying to do, get the basketball in the hands of Bruce Thornton, but too much traffic around him. They got to get it to John Mobley Jr.
And that's what they do here on the left elbow. 7 to shoot, step back straight away, 3, missed it wide right. And LeLevis just has a flat-footed rebound with 2:35 to play. TCU by 1 with the basketball. It's Harding. And he'll slowly and methodically get them into their offense. Off a screen from Punch. Harding driving left, stops on the left block, kick it out on the right wing. Robinson, 12 to shoot, rip through, drive right, step away to the outside, around the horn. It's Harding on the left wing, 6 to shoot. Bynum stays with him on the drive. Pierre on the far side, corner 3, short, long rebound of Thornton. He's off to the races left to right. It's a 1-on-3. He doesn't care, goes right at Harding, and he draws the foul. It'll be 2 free throws for Bruce Thornton. Harding is feeling the hit as he is still down in the restricted area after the play. But with 2:08 to play, the senior in his first tournament game can get his team in front of the line.
Brock Harding there trying to take a charge, and just as Bruce Thornton is getting ready to get into his 2 steps, has that basketball and catches an elbow right to the chin. The officials are going to go take a look at that one. Anytime there's any contact above the shoulders, all of a sudden you go take a look and see, and he is down on the floor and bleeding right now.
Yeah, he took a clear shot to the face. Harding is now at least on his back. He's got his teammates surrounding him with Robinson and Levicius, and now it's Jamie Dixon who will walk over there along with the athletic training staff for TCU. This broadcast of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network is intended
call
solely
on the floor is a common foul. The previous play is under review.
For the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA and Westwood One is strictly prohibited. Good to see Brock Harding get back on his feet, and he'll walk back to the TCU bench. So 2:08 to play. They're going to review this. Clearly incidental, but he is absolutely bleeding as he got hit in the nose.
Well, they're going to look to see, was it a basketball play? And clearly Bruce Thornton's, the way you can tell is your forearms have to be vertical. And as Bruce Thornton was coming through, his forearms were certainly vertical. And I thought that was a basketball play, so I expected it to stay a common foul.
It definitely was an elbow. But to your point, it was all part of his Euro step, trying to sidestep Brock Harding, who was, as you mentioned, trying to take a charge on this play. He just was a half step late to set his feet as he was still somewhat backpedaling. It looked like it was just close enough. They're going to continue to discuss here. Michael Greenstein, William Covington, and Chad Barlow are officials, and here's the call.
After review, the call stands. It's a common foul on number 2. Ohio State with two free throws and resume play.
So big for Ohio State to get Bruce Thornton, of all people, at the free throw line for 2 and a chance to put his team back up by 1 with 2:08 to play.
What an experience this must be for him. A 4-year senior that's never been to an NCAA tournament game. These are 2 huge free throws here.
Forget 4-year senior. This guy's a 4-year captain. 4-year starter, all-time leading scorer.
How about that?
In Ohio State history. Has never gotten this moment until now. He has been bottled up with just 5 points, but his first free throw is up and good off the front iron to tie the game at 58. 6 points now to go with 4 rebounds and 4 assists in 38 minutes for Bruce Thornton. He has not come off the floor for Jake Diebler.
I wouldn't take him off either. You can rest this summer.
One more coming. Bruce Thornton bends the knees, lets it fly, and puts it down. 59-58, Ohio State with a 1-point cushion, approaching 2 minutes to play. Looking to advance to the second round, round of 32, to take on either Duke or Siena. TCU in the front court, it's Pierre with 17 to shoot. Right-handed dribble against Mobley. Bounce pass to the right elbow. Goes to punch. Looking to back down maybe on Tilly. He instead retreats out. Now drives to his left. Spins to his right. Punch got to the right block. They call the foul. They count the bucket. David Punch through the contact. Banks it home. And has a chance for 3, putting his team back up 1.
Well, that was so good. Devin Royal did a nice job of challenging from the baseline side. He backed Tilly out, drove him to his left, and then drop step to the right and gave a little pump fake to get Tilly up in the air. Drew that foul, an opportunity for a 3-point play.
They look close to potentially being a foul on the floor. Instead, they give him the continuation. Punch is going to have a chance to get his team now up by 2 with 1:45 to play. Lelevis just checks out, and Toulson will come back in for Jamie Dixon. It'll be Toulson, Edmonds, Punch, Robinson, and Pierre, Royal, Tilly, Thornton, Bynum, and Mobley for Ohio State. Punch's free throw is up and good. 61-59, 1:45 to play. TCU by a deuce. Ohio State basketball. Mobley has it in his hands from left to right. He's been the star in this second half for the Buckeyes. He's up to 15 points. Across the timeline with 23 on the shot clock. Mobley surveys. Dribbles with the left hand. Finds Thornton left wing. Screen from Tilly. Now Thornton will drive middle. Back outside Mobley. He'll try a right wing 3. In and out. Rebound up for grabs. Popped into the air and out of bounds. Last touch by TCU. It was Pierre who got the hand on it, trying to bat it to one of his big men instead. Ohio State will keep possession with 20 to shoot.
Yeah, what recognition by Ohio State. Just, you know you can't get it with 2 hands, and you just trying to keep that thing active, hoping that your teammates can run it down. And clearly that was off of TCU.
So the officials asking the TCU bench to sit down. 1:20 to play, 61-59, Horned Frogs. Ohio State inbounds baseline, near side, it's Thornton holding at his hip. Lob it to the free throw line. Royal face up against Robinson. Rip through to his left, drive to his left, hang in the air, he got fouled. He missed it short, but Robinson is going to pick up the personal that's going to send Devin Royal to the free throw line to try to tie the game.
And this is where Devin Royal is at his best. He's so good at isolations, especially from that foul line area. Gave you a little pump fake, able to get to his left, and those broad shoulders able to draw contact. Opportunity for 2 free throws here.
Used every bit of that 6'6", 230-pound frame. 2 for 2 so far today. His first free throw is up and good. 61-60. Ohio State down by 1. Toulson out. Brock Harding in for TCU.
Well, you talked about neither of the players, very few of the players on either team have NCAA tournament experience. You can't tell this afternoon.
They're coming up huge in big moments. This one for the tie. The free throw up and good for Devin Royal. And the Pickerington, Ohio native ties the game at 61. 1:13 to play. Harding right to left for TCU. Fans on their feet here in Greenville. 20 to shoot now for Pierre on the left wing. Harding gets it back just in front of the midcourt stripe. 15 to shoot. Looking for Pierre. Curling off a screen. Down the middle. Kick out left corner 3. It's up. It's down. Micah Robinson. Bottom. 64-61 TCU. 50 seconds remaining. Ohio State looking for the response. It's Thornton on the right wing. Guarded by Pierre. Driving right. Outside Mobley. Picked up closely by Harding. Switch comes now with Edmonds. 13 to shoot. 39 seconds to play. Cross. Step back. Oh, Mobley thought about it. Thornton will take it on the right wing. And he drills the 3. Ties the game at 64. 30 seconds to play. 4-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. TCU will take the timeout. Bruce Thornton. Silent all day, and the leading scorer in Ohio State history has kept his team alive. All even at 64.
Boy, if you don't like NCAA tournament basketball, you love it now because, I mean, how about the big shot after big shot? All of a sudden, TCU comes down and knocks down a 3 on one end. The place gets a little quiet on the whole Ohio State Buckeyes team, and then your 4-year captain, Bruce Thornton, comes down and drills a huge 3. My goodness, Noah, it's awesome to experience this with you today.
So you got 22 now on the shot clock and 26.3 seconds remaining on the game clock in an even game at at 64 apiece for the right to advance. TCU is going to have the basketball here with that 4-second difference. Normally you would say, hey, you're going to give it to this guy. It feels like it's been such an evenly distributed offensive game for TCU. You have no idea where it's going.
You have no idea, and they're doing a really nice job of changing sides of the floor with the basketball to get this Ohio State team in rotation. Ohio State's done a really nice job of coming to the basketball and to give help, and that's what happened there. You came to give help as Jaden Pierre came into the lane, and they were able to spray that out, and Michael Robinson able to knock down a three. So defensive discipline here from Ohio State's going to have to be huge. They've got to keep that basketball out of the paint.
TCU has the possession arrow. Ohio State one timeout. TCU does not have any remaining. Both teams are in the bonus for a 1-and-1 if there's a foul on the floor. 22 to shoot, 26.3 to play for the right to continue and to face the winner of Duke or Siena in our second game here from Greenville. But this has been quite the way to start the day. TCU ball, 64 apiece. Pierre will inbound on the near sideline with Punch, Edmonds, Harding, and Robinson in there. Starting five out there for Ohio State. Get it in for Harding at the midcourt stripe with 20 to shoot. 24 to play. Fans stay standing in Greenville. 15 to shoot. Harding holding on his left hip. Now they'll run the offense with 10 on the clock. He gets a screen to his right with 8 to shoot. Harding looking to drive on Mobley. Stops, feeds, Punch, drives middle, cut off, Punch, 3 to shoot. Bounce it inside. Edmonds left block, goes up strong and puts it home. TCU by 2. 66-64 with 4.1 seconds remaining. Timeout Ohio State.
What a beautifully designed play that actually broke down, but we talked about being able to get in the paint, and David Punch seeing the seal on the inside from Xavier Edmonds one-on-one, makes a quick move and able to finish that one over the top. What a beautifully designed play coming out of that timeout.
TCU led this game by 15 points at the half. It was 39-24. Ohio State rushed all the way back and took a 5-point lead with 6 minutes remaining. Then it's been a seesaw ever since. And this way currently is in favor of TCU after the bucket from Edmonds gives them 16 points and gives them a 66-64 lead with 4 seconds even remaining on the clock. So here you are, actually going to make it 4.3. They just added a couple tenths on for Ohio State to work with. That's plenty of time to get a quality shot up for a team that has dynamic scores in the backcourt in Bruce Thornton and John Mobley Jr.
I expect one of those two guys to run a little bit of a curl action to be able to hit them on the run. And it's about 1 second per dribble. And so should be able to get it into the front court and try to get a decent look. I trust John Mobley's speed to be able to handle it a little bit better. We'll see if he gets it in his hand.
Bynum, Royal, Mobley, Thornton, and Tilley. The starting five will stay out for Jake Diebler's team. Bruce Thornton has played all 40 minutes in this game.
If you're TCU, you cannot foul.
It would be a 1-and-1 for Ohio State. Thornton will inbound 94 feet away. Pierre, Edmonds, Harding, Punch, and Robinson are the five for TCU. Thornton can run the baseline if he chooses. 4.3 seconds left. TCU by 2. Get it in for Tilley. Right back to Thornton. 2 seconds left. Thornton's going to put up from half court for the win. No! Off the backboard and harmlessly falls to the court for TCU, who gets a massive win in a final second bucket from Edmonds. 66-64. The Horned Frogs are still dancing in Greenville.
The NCAA tournament wrapped up. Our coverage brought to you by Westwood One as TCU escapes with the victory over Ohio State, 66-64.
Hey, Tim Lacombe, who's here, he's going to be on at 1 o'clock. Did you just say the guy who scored the winning bucket for TCU with 4 seconds left, he was a Salt Lake Community College Bruin last year? No kidding. See, Tim's encyclopedic knowledge will be on full display at 1 o'clock here at Kenny J's Barbecue.
Once a Bruin, always a Bruin. That's what I say.
Yeah. All right. TCU goes to Slick and gets the game winner.
Congratulations. Here's Duke. That's what's waiting for them, assuming the Duke's able to knock off Siena, which I think we all assume. Hey, great first game. If we get more of those, we are in for a great, great tournament, though. My bracket is busted. I'm over.
You weren't going to go perfect. You're going to win the next game because Nebraska has a 30-point lead. So They're going to get their first win. You're going to get your first win, and away you go.
Right back at it. Feeling good about it. All right. Well, I'm always excited to watch the future pros play. Not that TCU's loaded with them, but obviously they're coming up with Duke and then BYU later today. If you want to watch the BYU game, come on down. No better place than Kenny J's Barbecue, 11610 District Drive at the District in South Jordan. The lunch crowd is here, but the games are on. So if you want to come out, hang out, sneak away for work, you can certainly grab a plate and sit down and eat. Or if you want to spend the day here, you can do that as well.
So the Big 12 gets a win with TCU. The Big 10 gets a loss. And of all the Big 12 coaches, the one that PK and I can agree on is Jamie Dixon at TCU. Why? Because he was an assistant at UC Santa Barbara in 1991-92, and he's an assistant at NAU from 94 to 98.
All right, quick update on scores. Nebraska's up 25 on Troy, 70-45 with 4 minutes left in the game. Wisconsin's up 4 points on High Point, maybe a closer game than expected, 39-35 with 2 minutes left. Louisville up 10 on South Florida, 37-27. Mitch Harper is going to join us next, talking BYU basketball. Stick around, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Scotty G and Friends. I'm Ben Anderson. He's David James filling in for Scotty. Today he's getting ready to call Utah State and Villanova. Tomorrow, getting ready for tonight's game between BYU and Texas, is our BYU insider, Mitch Harper, live in Portland. What's going on, Mitch?
Hey, Ben. Happy to be on.
Appreciate you jumping on with us. All right, big game today. Certainly BYU is going to feel like they have the advantage and the opportunity to get a win in advance. But let me ask you this. Who's the culture setter right now for BYU? Who kind of sets the emotional attitude for this team this late in the season?
I would say it's probably A.J. DeBonsa. He's got to be the guy and he's been that guy in the locker room that keeps it together. I think that's been an area where A.J. has grown as a player, and he's been challenged. And Kevin Young has turned to him to be that leader on the floor and of course, in the locker room as well. So I would say A.J., but I think it's a fair question. It's something that the leadership, when Richie went down, was created a glaring void. And even Richie's presence still by being with the team, and he's here in Portland and he's with the group, I think that does help because he just gives them he's the heart and soul. He just gives them a lot of confidence, kind of keep pushing through in adversity. But it's got to be AJ, and I think he has been that in recent weeks since Richie went down.
Looking at what AJ has done in recent weeks, I mean, it's amazing. Now, over his last 15 games or so, he's taken 20 shots or more in about half of them, maybe a little bit more. Now, obviously, that jump coincides with the absence of Richie Saunders, but I'm still wondering, how much more can you ask of him? Because he is the best player on the floor every single time he suits up. He's going to be better than everybody they face in the tournament, maybe until they were to reach the Final Four. I mean, honestly, that's the caliber of player he is. So how much more can they ask of him? He's going to play most of the game if the game's tight. Can they ask him to continue to carry a larger and larger load?
Yes, he has to, and BYU needs at least 30 points a game from him if they want to make a run. He against Houston, it was difficult for him and the entire BYU team. He was only 4 of 13 from inside the arc, and obviously Kevin Young was pretty upset with the officiating in that game, and that's going to be key here. I think that's going to be something that's interesting with AJ, his ability to pick his spots, and he always draws contact. What officiating crew does he get, and how active is that whistle to sending A.J. DeBonsa to the free throw line? Because if he's, getting maybe 15 attempts, he could be talking about a 40-point game, and BYU's in the mix to, win any game. Because there's an argument to be made he can get to the line with that many times. So, in the Big 12 tournament, the whistle was just not going his way. But, he needs at least 30 points a game. And I think, too, his defense as well, I think that's where you can maybe increase the workload for him because now you're at the end of the road. You got 40 minutes remaining guaranteed. I think there's sometimes been maybe his on-ball defense has had to be sacrificed because of how much he's needed on the offensive end, both ends of the floor. And I think that's where the workload increases for AJ in this tournament, is on the defensive side.
Offensively, the conference tournament, I thought he was initiating the offense a really high percentage of the time, and he'd always had the ball a lot, but I thought he had it even more. And I'm curious if you saw it that way, because I've talked to people who didn't think it was that much more. And then there's also the factor that Rob Wright got hit in the face, and maybe they went away from him a game or so there while he kind of adjusted to the getting his teeth fixed and everything. Do you think AJ is going to have the ball a lot in this? And is it going to look like that conference tournament? Or maybe you didn't think the conference tournament he had the ball that much more?
I think he's got to have the ball in his hands a lot. I mean, he's the guy that's going to be leading this offense, and I think that ball's got to be in his hands. And, the nice thing for Texas is that they've got a player that they know can hit a shot late in a game, and someone who's done it a lot. With Tremont Mark, he's had 5 game winners, including that winning shot against NC State. So they have confidence that if the game is tight at the end, he can deliver a clutch performance. And AJ's got to be that guy to give BYU a chance to maybe create a little bit of a cushion in this game. So I do think BYU is the better team. It's just, BYU, they are so up and down. You just don't know what you're going to get every single day from this group. They're not consistent. And I think that if they want to have an early start and start strong and maybe kind of set the tempo on the defensive end, maybe show that physicality that they were showing in stretches in the Big 12 tournament, and then on the offensive end, AJ's got to get things rolling early and often. I think that's where he's got to have the ball in his hands more often than not to kind of lead this offense. So I think that, he needs to get the ball in his hands. And, talk to Rob Wright, too, here in Portland about, his future and his outlook after whatever the run ends up being in the NCAA tournament. He said that he'll have a decision to make. He's considering either the pros or coming back to BYU, but nothing definitive right now as far as what his future looks like. And that's kind of the case with pretty much anyone these days in the portal era. But ultimately it's AJ's team. You get the ball to him, and he leads this thing going forward.
I've been extremely impressed by Rob. He is a guy who has the ability. We saw we put 39 up against Colorado. He's not taken 20 shots in a game this year. Maybe he did it one time. Like, this is a guy who could do a lot more, and I think that was a little bit of his reputation coming from Baylor, and he's really deferred at the right times and then become ultra efficient in his role. He is somebody, and this is not the hottest take, but I could see him taking a major step forward in this tournament because BYU is going to need that second star beyond AJ, and he's the obvious choice. Agreed,
and he's got to be good around the rim as far as just finishing those bunnies, those ones that are right at the rim. He gets to the paint, and he's an excellent paint touch guard and he has an ability to finish, but sometimes the efficiency there and finishing those ones right at the rim, not always at the greatest clip. So I think that's going to be important in this game. Guys like Rob Wright and Kaba Keita, when you've got point-blank shots, you've got to hit them and take advantage of those opportunities, because BYU from three-point shooting, it's a mixed bag. There will be some games where they hit 12 threes. There's other games where they'll go only 4 or 5 threes. But you can count on them getting downhill and attacking the rim, and Rob Wright's one of the best to do that. And I think this can be a stage for him where he can shine. But I think, ultimately the hierarchy, it's AJ and then Rob. But, Rob's always got that ability to go off for 30. And then that's a nice luxury for BYU to have two guys that you go into a tournament and that they can get you buckets. I think there's been many stages, where BYU has played in this event over the years, whether it was Coach Cleve and Coach Rose, all those different teams. Like, you just didn't know if the iron would be completely unkind for BYU, and if you had guys that could get shots. You have two guys in this NCAA tournament where you just know BYU is going to get guys that can fill it up, and that's a great luxury for BYU to have, and that gives them a chance that despite their up and down season that they've had and only being a 6 seed, that you think, man, if they can get hot and they can get that first game, maybe they can get some momentum and get this thing rolling. So Rob Wright's going to be big for BYU if they want to make a deep run.
When you talk to guys, because you're there and you get to chat with them the day before the game, is there anybody you get a vibe for, anybody especially focused, anybody you think really could go off just based on your interaction? We know AJ's the star. We know Rob Wright is Robin to Batman, but who's the third big wheel on any given night? And do you have a vibe who that might be tonight?
Alexei Kostic. I'd say he'd be the one that I would point to in that spot. He's quietly just cemented himself as a starter for this team, and you love the confidence that he's playing with right now. Against West Virginia, he was 0 of 6 from 3-point range, but not shy at all about putting up attempts. And even in that Houston loss, a late 3 to make it 64-61, and BYU was feeling good in that spot. He hit those 2 big threes to give BYU a lead at the half. So I think Kostic is the one that he comes into this tournament feeling really good about where he's at. And, he's someone, too, I was talking about, maybe his future outlook as well. And he said that he really loves playing for Kevin Young. And, he's got a close relationship with Tim Fanning, his agency that represents Kostic. They're really close to Tim Fanning. They got a good relationship there. So he's enjoyed the BYU experience so far. So he's someone that maybe you look at, this could be, a springboard for next season for him. And I think he kind of looks at that potentially as well. So I'd look to Kostic to be that guy that can maybe be, that player that has a really good performance in this NCAA tournament stage.
You're not going to find better BYU coverage than Mitch Harper. Mitch, great stuff. Thanks for jumping on with us live in Portland. Follow his coverage throughout the tournament. We'll talk to you soon, Mitch.
Ben, DJ, thanks for having me on. Take care, guys.
There he is, Mitch Harper, giving us a breakdown on the latest with BYU. I've really been impressed with Rob. And, we were just watching the TCU Ohio State game, and it's easy to forget that sometimes these close games come down to hitting shots, and those are shot makers. We saw Rob with the game winner at Madison Square Garden. We know what AJ does, and as Mitch mentioned, those are two guys who what to expect. You can cash those checks every single game, and having a guy who's going to come out and give you 25 to 30 points every night, and then Rob's ability to go from 15 to 30 on any given night it's such an advantage over every other team.
Everything matters. Your ability to defend, your ability to rebound offensively, your ability to pass and to set screens, that all matters. But all of that is to give you a better chance, or the other team a worse chance, to make a shot, because that's the only thing they give you points for. And so,
yep.
And we were just watching that Ohio State game, and when it was tied at 61, TCU ran a great set, and their guard drives, and he draws. Everyone gets sucked into the paint, and he keeps his head up, makes a great pass out. He got a teammate. Wide open 3, feet set, catch and shoot. It was a dream.
Yeah.
At the other end of the floor, Ohio State couldn't shake TCU.
Right.
Couldn't get a good shot, but they just had a guy rise up with the defender stuck right in his face. Whap. Yep. Makes the 3 and ties the game. And it's just like, all the other stuff matters, and you want it because the analytics will tell you, right? Over dozens of possessions, hundreds, thousands, that stuff matters a lot. But when you need one bucket, you can either put it in or you can't. You have to throw it in some teardrop over a 7-footer or a contested 3. If it goes, it goes. And if you brick a wide open shot, well, you get nothing and you like it.
2 games have gone final. As we mentioned, TCU beats Ohio State 66-64. Nebraska gets their first ever win in the tournament, 76-47 over Troy. A couple of games already in action. Louisville up 10 over South Florida with 17 minutes left in the second half. Wisconsin in a close one at halftime, up on High Point 41-39. You want to wreck, what do we think, 85% of brackets have Wisconsin lose to High Point?
First off, 99% of the people picked Wisconsin to win the game. But to your point, Wisconsin as a 5 seed, there got to be a lot of people who took them to Sweet 16, Elite 8.
Yeah, right.
You're right, trying to mix it up a little bit. So, yes, there are losses, and then there are losses. Like you're complaining, oh, there goes my bracket, because everybody took Duke over Ohio State and TCU. You lost 1 point.
Yeah, right.
And I do think if you're in a bracket, don't go crazy over this stuff. At the end, what's going to matter? If you pick the winning team, you have a chance to win. If you didn't, you don't. Because I think the odds of Duke, Arizona, or Michigan winning are very high.
Yep.
If you get those 3 versus the field, and that's not to say Houston or Florida or whoever can't pull it off, but the odds are you needed to pick one of those 3, and you need to be right, because the number of points you get for them winning their regional, winning their semifinal, and winning the title game, they're just going to blow everybody away.
We'll get you updated on more scores coming up next. Stick around. Scotty G and friends, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.